Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. I hope you're having a great day. Today I thought we'd make this ornament card with some non-traditional Christmas colors. So let's get started. I'm going to start with some Elizabeth Craft soft finish cardstock. This is a 100-pound weight cardstock. And I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4, so it'll be 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to do a top folding card. And then I'm going to cut another little piece that's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that's going to fit right on the front of that card there. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my Martha Stewart scoring board and I'm going to score that card at 5 1/2. I'm just going to use the bone folder here just to press that crease into place. And again, this will be a top folding card. So we'll measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So now I've got that other panel that I cut, and I'm going to go ahead and take my Lawn Fawn outside in stitched rectangle stackables, and I'm going to take that second largest one there. And it's got double stitching, so it stitches the outside and the inside. So I'm going to center it on that panel, and I'm going to go ahead and tape it in place with a little bit of washi tape here. I'm going to run that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. And you'll notice that I tip it a little bit so that it's not running straight through. It does help to save your plates a little bit if you turn it on a slight angle. Now you'll see when I take that out, I have a beautiful stitched inside rectangle, and then I have the other rectangle that's also stitched, which I'm going to keep for the inside of the card for later. So now I have that beautiful frame. I'm going to take the Nitpicky Petite paper pack, and I'm going to take that gray one that kind of looks like a sweater pattern, and I'm going to cut that to match that panel, so it will be a little less than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, a little less than 5 1/2, so it fits right behind that panel that we've cut. So now I'm going to take some Scotch foam mounting tape and I'm going to place it all the way around that panel. And it fits nicely there. It's just the right width. So it's going to give a nice secure base for that frame. So now I'm going to take that pattern paper that we cut and I'm just going to go ahead and attach that right to my card. And now I'm going to take that frame and I'm just going to make sure that that looks like it's going to fit there perfectly. So now I'm going to take some Canson watercolor cold press paper. It's 140-pound watercolor paper. And now I'm going to take my Lawn Fawn. These are little ornaments or tags. And I'll give you the name here in a second. They're called the Winter Tiny Tags. And I just think these are so cute. These can be used for just about anything, but I thought I would use them to create some ornaments. So I'm going to take the topper of the ornament and I'm going to die cut it from some some silver metallic paper. And I'm going to go ahead and run those through my machine, and I'll be doing 3 of each of these. Now I'm going to also run through the mini snowflakes from Lawn Fawn. And I'm going to die cut those out of that white watercolor paper as well. Again, just taping them in place with some washi tape there. So now I've got all my little pieces. I've got my little topper there that's going to sit on top of each of these little ornaments. And the ornaments are stitched, which I again think is just so cute. So now I've got all my little pieces cut, 3 of each of the ornaments and 3 toppers. And now I want to go ahead and do a second set of snowflakes, but first I want to color the paper because I think it'll be easier just to color it in. So we'll have a set of snowflakes in white and then a set of snowflakes in blue. So what I'm going to do here is just determine about how much paper I need here, just roughly. And then I'm going to take the Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just going to ink that panel up all over. Just give it a nice coating of ink. And that's going to get fairly wet when we do that. So I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to heat set that really quickly so it's not too wet when I run the dies through the machine. Now I'm going to place those snowflake dies right on there and put a little bit of tape on there, a little washi tape, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And now we have all those little snowflakes in blue, and we also have the white set that we die cut earlier. So I'm just poking out the little ornament hole there with my tool pick, and I'm going to start off with the picked raspberry Distress Oxide ink, which I just think is such a beautiful color, such a beautiful pink color. And then I'm going to take, the next color will be the Seedless Preserves. And I know this is kind of a non-traditional color palette, but I just have been seeing a lot of these whimsical colors and I think it's so pretty. So I decided to do it on a card. And then the last color we'll be using will be the Twisted Citron. Now I just want to note that at the very end I will show you a card done in reds, greens, and whites, a more of a traditional color palette, just to give you an example of another look that you can go with this same card. So now I have all three of those inked up. I'm going to take my Distress Sprayer from Tim Holtz, and it has water in it, and I'm just going to spritz it here, and then take a paper towel and just blot up some of that color. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, just spritzing it again here with the water and blotting up the color. And this is going to give it a pretty kind of a snowflakey kind of look. Just makes it a little bit more whimsical. So now I'm also going to take those again and just heat set those quickly because they do get a little bit wet with when you spray the water on there. So I want to make sure they're nice and dry. And now I'm going to take my three little silver toppers and I'm going to go ahead and adhere those with the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. So I just go ahead and glue all three of those on, and you can see how cute those are. I love the little stitches, the stitched border on these ornaments. So now I have those three blue snowflakes that we die cut. I'm just selecting the ones that, the larger ones that fit on the ornaments. And I'm just going to apply a little adhesive on the back of each of those. And attach those right in the center of the ornament. And they're just so pretty. So those three are all set. So now I'm going back to the little ornaments, the set of ornaments, the set of snowflakes that we cut earlier, the white ones. And I'm going to take my Wink of Stella brush in the shimmer, which is a clear, sparkly color. And I'm going to go ahead and just put sparkle on all three of those little centers. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those, and I don't know if you can see it there, but they're very sparkly. And I'm going to go ahead and attach those to the centers of each of those snowflakes. And you can see how cute that looks. And just doing the last one here. And now those look really, really cute to me. So I've got those three set. And now I'm going to take, I have this silver twine. It's a little bit thicker than a normal twine, but it's just some scraps that I had left over. So any kind of silver twine or silver ribbon, something thin would work great here. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip off I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 inches of each of those. Just for now, I'm not sure how long I'm going to need them to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take some foam mounting tape and just secure that twine in place. And also it will act to pop up the ornaments a little bit as well. So now that those three all have the twine attached to them, I'm going to try to determine where they're going to fall on my card. So I'm just kind of temporarily just positioning them back behind this frame before I secure them down, just to make sure I have everything where I want it to be. And that positioning looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off if I can there. And I'm going to go ahead and position that first one in place. And I'm going to do the same thing for this pink one here. Just takes a little bit of patience here to get these positioned. And you can just lightly press them into place right at this point, and then once you're sure they're where you want them to be, you can really press down on them and make sure they're there securely. If you just lightly press, you get a little time to move them around if you need to. So now that those are in place, I want to get that twine attached. So I'm going to flip the card over and I'm going to take some score tape, the 1/4 inch score tape. I'm just going to put a little strip of that at the top. This is a double stick tape. I'm going to remove that backing. And then I'm just going to wrap that twine right around to the back. And secure that into place, and then just snip off any excess that I have there. That purple one I just felt wasn't quite, that the twine wasn't quite straight enough, so I'm just lifting it and positioning it a little bit. And now I'm going to just press those into place. Now that frame is going to go right over top of all of that, so I'm just peeling away the backing of the tape and I'm going to position that down. So you can see that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to want to attach this to my card, so I'm going to take my score tape and I'm just going to place it all over the back of this panel. And I want enough just to make sure it stays nicely in place. And I did put another piece over the little twine that wrapped around to the back, just to make sure that that doesn't pull up at all. And now I'm going to just position that right on the front of the card, and it should fit perfectly. So now I want to do something with the top there. I want to make it look like a branch is coming over. So I'm going to take the large wreath die set from Fawn, and I'm going to take another piece of the soft finish cardstock from Elizabeth Crafts, and I'm going to go ahead and determine about how much of that paper I'm going to need here. And I'm going to do as I did before. I'm going to color in this little panel with the picked raspberry. And I'm just going to go ahead and color that whole panel in. Now, because I am making a bow with this, I wanted the inside of the bow to be pink as well. You could skip this part, but I flipped it over and I added ink to the back of the panel as well. So I have ink on both sides now. Now, definitely this is very saturated, so I did want to take the heat gun and make sure I heat set this. And I spent a little bit of time there making sure it was nice and dry. Now I'm going to take and die cut my bow from that panel. And I'm also going to die cut the those little fern leaves from that other panel. And I'm going to do 2 sets of those because we're going to need 8 of those little branches. And you can see there, that's my second set that I ran through the die cut machine. And those are just so pretty. So now I'm going to take this little piece of speedball rubber here and my Sizzix sculpting tools. And these tools do come with a little sculpting mat. I just couldn't find mine, so I'm using a little piece of rubber here instead. But it does come with a nice mat that you can use to sculpt. I just want to show you a few different things here. I used the little small tip here, and you can make little veins in that fern. Or in here I do it again, just using the smaller tip. Or you can use the big ball tip and just kind of press down and sculpt, and it just pops up those sides of those leaves. And here I'm just using that ball tip again, and I'm flipping it over, doing half one direction and flipping it over and doing the other half the other way. So you can just kind of play around with these and just sculpt them any way you feel comfortable with. You just want to create some dimension, and you want them all to be a little bit different. So have some fun with that. And now I have that bow that's ready to be assembled. So I'm just taking a pencil and I'm rolling the bow around the pencil just to get it rounded for me, so that when I go to attach those two ends, it won't just fold in half. And I'm using these tweezers from EK Success, EK Tools, to use them as like a clamp to hold this bow in place while it dries. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in those two sides, and then I'm going to clamp it with that tweezer and just let that dry for a minute. And that'll just hold it there for me. Then I'm going to take that little tab, I'm going to place a little bit of glue on the bow. And then I'm going to take that tab and I'm going to wrap it around and secure it in the back. And I love that this has a little tab, because you don't have a separate piece to have to try to wrap around. It's all one piece, so that makes it really easy. Once I have that, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the rest of the bow here and attach those two pieces together. So now I want to go ahead and attach those little branches, and I'm just going to basically put glue down the center of each of those. And I kind of want that one to come over far enough so all the ornaments look like they're hanging from this branch. I'm going to create like one long branch out of this. And I wanted to use the white. I just thought it'd be pretty, the white on white. Just something a little bit more modern looking. And a little bit softer palette here. So I'm going to just attach 3 of them to start with, and then I'm going to start to fill in the gaps here. Just kind of tucking those into place. This is the fun part. I mean, just have fun with figuring out where you want these to go. So I finished filling all that in now. It looks good. It's nice and full. You can see that gives a lot of dimension up at the top there. And now what I want to do is attach that little bow right in the corner there. I was going to put some glue on it, but I decided I would use some photo mounting tape just to pop it up a little bit higher. So I put a little strip of the photo mounting tape there on the back, just peeling away the backing, and I'm going to attach that there in the corner. Now, I kind of thought it looked a little plain, so I'm going to take my Jelly Roll pen in the white, and I'm going to add some little polka dots to the bow part. Not the little center part, but all the rest of the bow. And this was easy to do. It would have been easier if I did it while it was flat, but it came out fine, and I like that it adds a little bit more of a whimsical touch there. So now that looks pretty good. I'm going to take the crystal drops in the silver lining. These are the Nouveau crystal drops. And I'm going to put a little dot of that in the center of each of these snowflakes here. And these drops come in many, many colors, and they're just so beautiful, and it always adds just a little something and they dry beautifully and add a little bit of, I don't know, dimension to your card. So now I've got that panel that we cut out before from the front of the card, and I'm going to take the picked raspberry ink and the Happy Holidays from the Beary Happy Holidays stamp set from Lawn Fawn. I'm going to cut that Happy Holidays in half and mount it on an acrylic block. This is just another way to stretch your stamps by cutting them and using them in different ways. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right in the center of that panel. And again, that's just such a pretty color. Now I want to go ahead and heat set that quickly. And I'm going to take some of those, a few more of those white snowflakes that were left over from before. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that Wink of Stella shimmer all over those three there. And then I'm just going to leave those in that color with the white and the shimmer, and I'm going to glue those on the inside of the card, just for a little dimension on the inside of the card here. I'm going back to that Nuvo adhesive again, and I'm just going to glue those down. And you'll see here again, it gives a little more of that white on white look that we got on the front of the card. So you can see that there. And now I'm going to attach that panel. I'm going to center it on the inside of my card and attach that. And I'm going back to that the Nuvo crystal drops in the silver, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot of that on each of those snowflakes and let that set and dry. So now you can see the finished card with all the dimension. I just think it's so pretty. I love the color palette. And inside we have the Happy Holidays and those pretty sparkly snowflakes. So I wanted to show you the card in the reds and the greens, as I mentioned before. And here I just did a white bow, and I glittered it with the Wink of Stella shimmer pen. And I just stamped the green Happy Holidays inside. And I used from the Petite paper pack a sweater pattern, a little different from the one we used before. And for my ink pads, I used Candied Apple and Lucky Clover. And then for my crystal drops, I used bright gold. And I used this thin gold twine from my stash to do the to hang the ornaments on. So there you can see it in the two different color palettes. So I hope you had fun today. And if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at my website, pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.